Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? In a little different location. I got a prayer meeting going on this morning. It happens uh, on Mondays. Not every single Monday, but today was one of those Mondays. So, in a little, I feel like under these fluorescent lights, I really don't like it, but it's okay. So, got my laptop here in front of me, camera out there. We hooked. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Hope you had a good weekend, a good Sunday, good time of worship yesterday. Today is day 12 of the 31-day Proverb Cleanse. It's a challenge indeed, but a challenge that will yield fruit in our lives. So I just want to jump right in. I'm doing my best to stay faithful. I said 10 minutes and we've been going over, but it's been good. It's been worth it. Uh, hey, Mom. Hey, Ashley. Good morning. So if you have something from Proverb 12, one of those Proverbs, and Proverb 12 was kind of, listening pros and cons. Um, I couldn't really pinpoint like a theme that I saw through the whole proverb, but I do have a couple that I want to share this morning. That is along with whatever you would like to share. I will be happy to share them along with. So, verse 15 says, "The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth or listens to counsel is wise." The way of a fool is right in his own eyes. And I just want to say, just humbly, how many times I have had to get some counsel and I've had something so twisted up in my own eyes. In my own eyes, it was right. In my own eyes, it was just as good as the word of God. But that's why even in the Proverbs it says, "In the multitude of counselors, there's safety." It's to keep us from making fools of ourselves. And so, just one encouraging thing out of many of these proverbs. The one I really want to kind of spend a little time on, just on a little bit of a spiritual note, is verse 21. It says, "The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute." The hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute. So now this we can look in a practical way. Somebody that works hard, they'll climb, they'll rise. The proverb says, in another proverb, it says, "You see a man that works hard, he shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men." He'll be blessed. And so, and that's true. And a slothful person is going to be under tribute. Somebody is going to always rule over them. What I wanted to do was just look at this from a spiritual standpoint, though, because today, under the covenant that we have with God through the bloodshed of Jesus Christ, He said that we shall tread on serpents. We will have authority. We will be bold, and we should have confidence in the Lord, and we should live above only and not beneath. And so, Jesus Christ came to set us free. He came to the ones who were sitting in the shadow of death and in the grip of Satan to free us from being under tribute, to free us from being in bondage, being in that yoke of bondage that was robbing from us and stealing our lives and causing us to have no authority, to not be bold, and to have no confidence. And so how do we address this? Just looking at it from a spiritual standpoint, he says, well, the hand of the diligent. And I just really looked at this today, and I'm like, man, right? We need to be diligent. I need to be diligent in spiritual things. If I'm going to have spiritual rule, if I'm going to be spiritually confident, spiritually bold, and walk in spiritual authority, then I need to be diligent in spiritual things. And so some of those spiritual things are, I'm just going to give you three. One of them is prayer. And I know sometimes we can think of prayer liturgically, the candle burning and, the stained glass and kneeling with the red velvet pillow and all of this other kind of stuff. And I'm telling you, while that might look and sound very beautifully, majestically worshipful, which it can be, that is not required of us. Jesus said that men ought always to pray. Paul said we should not cease from praying. So that's riding in our cars on our way to work. That is on our way to the refrigerator to grab that bagel. That is sitting in the break room. That is when we get a break. That's when we get up in the morning before we lay down at night to sleep. That is when things are frustrating us or making us afraid or anxious or angry. We take those things to God in prayer. So we have to be diligent. Oswald Chambers said something. He said, our first response to everything should be prayer. So, number one is prayer. Number two may seem like the same thing, but it's not. That's meditation. Um, where does it say it? I think it's in Isaiah. It say he will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on him. And so that means that we're taking time to think about who God is, not what we want from God, but who God is. Think about how powerful he is. Think about his mercy. Think about his love. Think about his goodness. Think about his grace. Think about all the ways that he has protected and provided for us. Just think about who God is. Take some time to think about that. Sometimes just take some time to think about his creation, how he made the sun and the moon and the earth and all that is therein. So that's a spiritual discipline, number two, that we should walk in, to be diligent in. And then number three, of course, is to be in the Holy Scriptures. So that goes without saying. I say study. Some people say, well, where do I start? How do I do it? What should I do? You know, well, I never forget. I used to ask that question too, and a brother told me. He said, Aaron, think of your favorite plate of food. He said, when you sit down, you don't think about what you're going to eat. You just dig in, and that is so true. The Word of God is a lamp to our feet and a light to our path. We don't need to get all intellectual about where to start. Really, wherever you start, trust me, God is faithful. He'll work through it. So that's my spiel on today. I'm glad you could join me. My voice is a little raspy this morning because I've been yelling for like the last 7 days. So keep me in your prayers. Thank God I'm not sick. And I look forward to seeing you first thing in the morning for day 13, the Proverb Cleanse.